A lot of us, we like talking about big goals, running 100 miles, qualifying for Boston, running Cocodona 250, the Leadville 100, or like myself, the Ouray 100. Whatever the goal is, we like talking about the finish lines, like showing people the belt buckles. We like talking about the training and in the accomplishment. But I don't think we spend much time talking about what those goals actually cost, because every meaningful goal costs something. That's not just for running either. That's for real life. They cost time, energy, attention, money. Sometimes they cost relationships, sometimes your health, and sometimes other opportunities. I've been thinking about this a lot lately. This goal of chasing Ouray has forced me to step back and ask a question: is when is the cost worth it? And when does the goal start costing more than what we realize? So that's what I wanted to talk about today. Welcome to the Ultra Nurse Podcast. This is where we run long, work even longer. I'm your host, Brad, a flight nurse, paramedic, dad of 3, coach, and a mid-of-the-pack ultra runner, just trying to figure this whole endurance thing out 1 mile at a time. This podcast is about running, especially running long, all while balancing work, family, and everything else that comes with real life. Party people, Brad, it's Friday here in Dubuque, Iowa. It's a gloomy day. It is raining a lot. We needed it pretty bad. I think the whole country needs rain, to be honest with you. I know they do out west. Still watching the weather out there. But I'm just going to kind of get right into this today. And this has been on my mind lately because this whole debacle, this whole mess the past few months, just kind of, trying to recover from this injury and chasing this big goal. And it's been really stressful. And so I was like, is this worth it? Is this all worth it? Right. And I think before we talk about the cost of chasing big goals, I think we need to really talk about why they're important in the first place. Because I don't want anybody listening to think I'm not saying, dude, don't go chase big goals. That's crazy. It's the exact opposite. I would never, ever, ever in 1 million years tell anybody not to chase a big goal. I think that people need to do hard things. I really do. I think we as human beings need something that scares us. Not like scares the living crap out of us. Not that we're living in fear all the time. You should never live in fear. The Bible actually says that 365 times do not fear, actually, which is kind of crazy. That is 365. There's 365 days in a year, but nonetheless, I think people need something that pulls them out of the comfort zone. Something that gets them excited to get out of the bed in the morning, right? For some people, that might look like building a business, right? Some people, it might mean like raising kids. And for everyone that has kids out there, you know how crazy it is. It's crazy. Raising kids is crazy, especially in this days and age. Oh my gosh. There's just so much out there. And anyways, for some people, like that is paying off their debt, paying off their house or whatever. For some people, or some idiots, like myself, it's running 100 miles through mountains, right? Or through the river valleys, or running 200 miles, or hell, it's running a half marathon, right? Whatever it is though, I think goals give us direction in life. And honestly, some of the best experiences of my life come from chasing goals that seemed completely ridiculous at the time. I mean, the Mines of Spain, my first 100 miler, right? I'm standing on the starting line wondering if I even belonged there, if I did the training. Sorry, I didn't mute my computer. But doing so introduced me to incredible people, taking me to incredible places, opened up doors, made me healthier, made me stronger, made me more disciplined. So this is not an anti-goal episode at all. It's an episode out of honesty, right? Because every meaningful goal, every goal that means something and that's important costs something. It really do. They all come with cost. For real, for real, for real. I think we should be honest about what we're paying. So the physical cost is probably one of the easier ones to see. It's the easiest cost to see. It really is. Everybody understands that training for something hard is going to hurt at times. It really is. You're going to get tired. You're going to get sore. You're going to spend time. You're going to have to spend weekends recovering or doing long runs, right? You're going to wake up some mornings and start to wonder, like, what the hell am I doing? And sometimes you're going to get injured, right? It just happens. They could be little nagging injuries or they could be big injuries. It happens. I don't know many people, again, I say this a lot. I don't know many people that do this sport that don't get injured every so often. It's just part of it. And if you don't, good for you. Congratulations. Because I did everything right this spring. Everything right. I got a coach. I listened to him. I listened to myself. I listened to my body. I did everything. I did everything right. And I still got injured. It's part of the game. It happens from time to time. So I've been sitting here dealing with this, and that's where a lot of my thoughts, because it came from that injury. That's where a lot of thoughts when I was writing this episode. Blah, 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 blah. And sitting here dealing with it, I had lots of time to think the past 4 or 5 months. I did a lot of writing and reflecting. And one thing I realized, nobody signs up for a race. No one. I don't think anybody does. And if you do, you're wrong. I'm telling you, you're wrong. I don't like to tell people they're wrong a lot, but nobody signs up a race thinking about the possibility that it ends with them sitting in a doctor's office. Nobody signs up thinking that. Maybe I'll need an MRI, or maybe I'll need 4 weeks in a boot. Maybe I'll miss a goal race. But it's part of reality for chasing difficult physical goals. Not always, not often, but it can be. And it sometimes happens. I think the longer you're in endurance sports, the more you realize injuries aren't necessarily a sign that you failed, because they're simply a part of the journey. I don't know too many people that have gotten through an entire training block without, like, oh man, Mike, I got this little calf tightness, or, like, oh man, I rolled my ankle, and it's a little funky or whatever, or, like, oh, my legs are completely sore. It's part of it. There are real physical costs, and you can't sit there and run 100 miles for, well, some people can. Andy Glaze is a monster. He's not right. He's not right. Not right. More power to him. I really like following him. Good. Seems like a really good dude too. But if a normie like myself tried to do that, oof, I'd be wrecked. So it's just part of the journey. That's part of the most obvious cost, is the physical cost. But again, I say this a lot. The problem is when we ignore warning signs because we're too attached to the outcome, right? Myself included. I should have stopped like a week before, 2 weeks before, and I'm like, oh man, this heel is really, 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 really on fire. I should stop. But no, I was chasing that big goal. Didn't listen to anybody. Stupid. So I think that's one of the most obvious costs, is the physical cost up front. Now let's talk about what I think a lot of runners underestimate, right? Is the mental cost. Because once the goal gets big enough, it takes up an enormous part of your head. I'm going to raise my hand there. Raise my hand. You think about it while you're so you think about that goal while you're driving, while you're at work. You think about it when you're trying to fall asleep. I don't think about it when I'm flying patients, though. That's my only focus. For real. I'm not sitting there in the aircraft being like, oh, I wonder how bad Hayden's going to suck climbing here already. No, my focus is entirely on my patients. And I hope everybody that's in the healthcare industry out there is the same way. Well, hey, when I'm back at base, I'm like, oh man, I gotta run tomorrow, and oh no, I haven't ran in 6 weeks. How in the hell am I gonna, finish this? Blah blah blah. But That it's just part of it, right? You keep looking at the course profiles, the elevation profiles. You're checking the freaking weather a month out, you know? You're researching gear. You're comparing. Here's one: comparing to others on Strava that are doing the race. It's madness. That is complete madness. Comparison's the thief of joy. And up in your head, you start wondering if you're doing enough, wondering if you're behind, wondering if you're prepared, right? And before you know it, the race is living in your head every single moment of every single day. Now, some of that can be fun, but after a while, it's just mentally exhausting. Dude, and the people around you are probably miserable with you too. I get it. I am probably awful to be around right now. That's all I've lived the past 6 months was Euro 100. Dude, my kids are sick of hearing about it. I need to cool it. It's just a freaking race, you know? It can become really exhausting. Really exhausting. It's borderline obsessive. I've crossed it. I've crossed that line this time. I think most runners do too. I really do. So the mental cost can be just completely overwhelming. And again, for 99% of us doing this sport, I get it. It's challenging. We want to push goals, but dude, this needs to be fun. We are not, yes, we're competing. We're seeing what we can do. We're pushing ourselves to the limit. But dude, we in competition to win these races. We're not going to be signed by Hoka or Nike or whatever. You know what I mean? It's supposed to be fun. And when we put this much mental anguish on ourselves, it stops turning fun. Dude, guilty, man. I am so stressed out. I'm so stressed out. And it's becoming not fun. And I wanted this to be just the awesomest, most epic race of my life. I mean, you're in the San Juan Mountains, just Switzerland of America. I've never been there before. I'm going with my dad, who's 67 years old. He's going to pace me for a section. It's going to be a father-son trip. And it's just been awful the past 2 months because of this injury and whether or not I'm going to be able to even start it, let alone have a chance of finishing it or further destroying my heel or whatnot. So the mental part is a huge, huge cost. Opportunity cost. No one talks about this, I don't think. Opportunity cost. Every yes or no, every single one. Every single one. When you say you're training for a 100-miler, you are saying no to something else. You are. Think about it. You're saying no to sleeping in some days. You're saying no to another hobby that you might enjoy. Dude, I love ripping guitar right there. Fender Strat. Dude, somebody buy me a list. Hey, here's how you could support the show. Here's how you could support the show. Somebody could buy me a Gibson Les Paul 50 standard. That's how you can support the show. No, I can. I'm very blessed to have that guitar, actually, but I do need a Les Paul really bad, or a 335. All right. But you're saying no to another hobby, right? You're saying no to social events. You're saying no to downtime, and that's okay, but you need to recognize it. You need to recognize it, because one of the mistakes that people make is believing they can go all in on everything. You can't. You can't. Nobody can. Nobody can be a world-class runner, an amazing parent, an incredible employee, build a business, a really successful one, launch a podcast, dominate every area in life simultaneously, besides the alterners. No. Take everything with a grain, right? But I am a great runner, and I think I'm a good parent. I think I'm an okay employee. I think I'm a good employee. I'm not very good at building a businesses, and I'm terrible at launching a podcast. But it's crazy. You got to prioritize things, right? And maybe something gets less attention. Like, I'm only putting out one podcast a week now. I was putting out 2 to 3. I can't do it when I'm training for a 100-miler. My kids are off, they're at home during the day now. They're not at school. And I'm picking up a lot of shifts at work again to try, make a little money here and there and cover shifts and build the coaching business, which I'm not really pushing that. But if people do need Want a good coach that's funny, handsome, charming, smart, knows a thing or two about ultra running and coming back from injuries and doing shift work. PM me. That's my shameless plug. No, but something's going to get less attention. It's just reality. All right. And this one's uncomfortable to talk about. It really is. It's uncomfortable for me to talk about. Family cost. I do not think that chasing goals is selfish. Actually, I think there can be tremendous, tremendous value in your kids seeing you working hard. I really do. They're seeing you set goals. They're seeing you challenge yourself, but there's still a cost, right? Long runs take time. Recovery takes energy. Travel takes time. It's fact. But I think if we're not careful, we can become so focused on what we're chasing that we forget about the people standing beside us. Not because we're terrible people, it's not because we're selfish. It's because goals can narrow your focus. I think it's totally healthy for us as ultra runners to occasionally step back and ask, how is this affecting my children? How is this affecting my spouse or girlfriend or the people that are important around me? I don't think that it means you should stop. It's because it just being aware of it matters. Dude, it's fine to go out and rip a 4-hour run on a Saturday morning, but after that, dude, stop talking about your race in front of you. Guilty, man. My kids are probably like, "Oh my god, my dad is so crazy." And this is why doing the show is so great for me. That sounds really selfish, but it's because I'm like, dude, all right, after my run, I'm just gonna stop talking about running and be present with my kids. I want to talk about my son's hockey. I want to tell about my daughter's day. I want to make fun out of her for her boyfriend. I want to see how her running and her training's going and what's going on in her life. I want to tickle my daughter, my other 5-year-old. I want to see what her Barbies are up to and whatnot. They don't want to hear about the Euro 100 anymore. The people at work are probably even more sick of it. They're all betting against me. They are. I think the people at work have a pot. I think there's an over under, and I think most of them took the under. I don't blame them. I don't blame them. But anyways, you got to be aware of it, man. There is a family cost, but it's super beneficial. I think it makes you a better parent. I really do. And here's another rant. You don't How do I word this? I'm going to word this all wrong, and I'm going to get so much shit for it. You don't need to play with your kid every single damn second of your day. Ugh, it hurts to say that, but you don't need to entertain your children 24/7, 365. You don't. You don't. I think that's horrible for them. Yeah, I'll come in, I'll beat the crap out of all my kids. Not think I smash them, right? And tickle and whatnot. But after 20 minutes, 30 minutes, I'm like, hey, why don't you guys go play outside? Go play outside. Oh, I don't want to play. No, go play outside. Go play out with your friends. Or go play with each other. Or you know what? Hey, I got something to do for a half hour. Go upstairs and color. I think that's super healthy. You don't need to entertain your kids 24/7, 365. They got to learn to be by themselves sometimes. They got to learn how to play with the other children and not just but you know what? I am very involved in my children's lives, and if my son goes ask me to rip pucks with them or play catch or my daughter wants to play catch, yeah, I'll be right out. Anyways, the family cost. Now, the financial cost. This is another one. This is another one that you could visualize. I mean, it is, dude, ultra running is getting crazy expensive. I'm not ripping any race directors or races or people or whatnot, or, manufacturers or businesses. Dude, ultra running is not cheap anymore. It's not accessible. It's getting unaccessible. It's super expensive. The race registrations, again, I mean, no, nothing bad, nothing towards you, but race registrations are getting crazy, especially the big ones, man. Oh, dude, nothing against, again, Oh my gosh. I had FOMO. I had FOMO, what, 2 or 3 weeks ago? Totally. Big case of it. I had the Cocodona 250 in my Ultra sign up for the lottery, and then I saw the cost of it, and I'm like, "Nope, nope. I'm not pa I can't afford $2,300 to run 250 miles." I get it. I get it. They cost a lot of money to put on. You get a lot of swag, you get the aid stations and whatnot, but I'm like, "Damn, that's a lot of money." The registrations, I mean, thank gosh the one in town here, in the Mines of Spain, I think it's still $300. That is awesome. I'm willing to pay that all day. There's a lot of permits and stuff. You're in the mountains, there's more logistics, whatever. It is what it is, but man, some of these races are getting crazy in cost. I don't know how people afford it. I have no clue how people afford to run so many races that they do a year. Good for them. Good for them. But yeah, I mean, it shocks me. Hotels, if you're traveling to these things, my gosh, that's what really gets you. It's one thing to be like, oh, I'm going to give somebody $600 to run 100 miles. It's fine. And then you're like, oh, wait, I got to go stay out there for a week. And it's $300 a night for a hotel. And a lot of times you need a B&B because you're bringing a family or a crew out with you. And the hidden cost of those, it'll be like, oh, 200 a night. And then you get the cleaning fee, the service fee, the what fee, taxes. And I think I'm spending, I will just say it. I'll just say I'm kind of embarrassed to say that. It's I think my Airbnb in Ouray, Colorado was $3,600 for 10 nights, which whatever. It is what it is. Hey, it's a full house. I kind of needed one for out there. I wanted laundry for 10 days or whatever, and a little more space than a hotel. And, because I didn't know who I was bringing when I booked something. And there's not a whole lot of hotels in Ouray anyways. I could have stayed about an hour up Montrose for a little cheaper, and they have hotels up there. But I really wanted to sleep at just about 8,000 feet, not at like 5,000. So there's some science behind that. Anyways, your hotels are expensive. Flights, if you're flying, flights just got jacked up immensely. Dude, gas, since we're lobbing missiles at every other country. I'm not getting political on this channel, but no, traveling, paying for your gas is super expensive. Dude, shoes, $180 is minimal now. Man, I don't know. I can't find shoes for under 150 anymore that I'd run in. I just bought a pair of Prodigio Maxes on sale. They were 125, I think. So I gobbled up two because I love them. But shoes are expensive, and when you run as much as we do, you're going through, well, on average, a pair of shoes every 2-3 months. So that's expensive. Your nutrition, if you're using gels, you could spend a couple $100 a month if you're on the good gels. And I call them good. I don't know. I am on the Precision right now. Precision's awesome. I'm happy to pay it, but it's not cheap. It's not cheap. But it sits good in my gut, gives me tons of energy, and I highly recommend it. But it's a cost there that you don't think of. And in coaching costs something. I highly recommend coaching. It's the best decision I ever made in my running is to get a coach. I'm in the best shape of my life. Even being injured, I'm still in incredible shape. Incredible shape. And I'm a much better runner and a stronger person by doing so. But in the scheme of things, I think it's totally worth the investment. And I always say, hey, the biggest investment you can make is not in an IRA. It's in your own health. So coaching's part of it. Get a coach. I'm a good coach. I'm just kidding. I might be a good fit for you. No more plugs. Physical therapy if you're hurt. Thank gosh I got good insurance. It doesn't cost me that much. Dude, if you get hurt, MRIs, my God. All right. Since I am a nurse and a medic, our healthcare industry is absolutely cooked. Dude, I have really good insurance, and I had to pay almost $700 out of pocket for a freaking MRI. Oh, absurd. But they covered most of the x-rays that don't show shit on musculoskeletal injuries unless you have a big fracture anyways. But yeah, that was a big cost. Your gear, running packs, shirts, raincoats, hats, poles, it all adds up. Nothing's getting cheaper anyways. Headlamps. You could spend a ton of money chasing these goals. And let's face it, most of us that are doing this, if not almost all of us, are not sponsored. We are not getting free stuff. We're not getting kickbacks. But again, I don't think there's anything wrong spending money on something that improves your life and your health. I got a saying, I say, you either pay for it now or you pay for it later. But it's important to acknowledge this, right? Because I don't think a lot of us runners are super wealthy. I think a lot of us are super normal, average people who are working jobs, we're paying mortgages, we're raising kids, and kids aren't cheap, and their sports are ridiculous now. We're trying to balance life. And I think sometimes, like what you see on social media, and I know there's some dudes out there now, like Steve Huffine, who's awesome. Follow him. You need to follow him. If you're on Instagram, follow him. But social media, there's a lot of these people, and no offense to any of these guys, but they're consistently flying around. They're doing a race a weekend. They're using this, they're using that, and doing the most epic adventures every dang week. But that isn't reality for most people. And then the cost that no one talks about, except for me, because I'm the best running podcaster out there. No, everybody just turned off. They're like, we are done with this arrogant, selfish idiot on here. But no, identity. I think this is the biggest one. Identity. Because goals have a funny way of becoming who we are part of it. They become part of how we see ourselves. If that makes any sense. And sometimes they become how we start to define ourselves. I think that is dangerous. Super, super, super dangerous. Please try not to do this. Because what happens when you get hurt? What happens when life gets in the way? What happens when the race disappears? Your entire identity sometimes gets wrapped up in that goal. And that's when it hits really hard. And honestly, that's one of the lessons that I'm taking away from this injury. This is reinforced for me. Running is something that I do, but it's not who I am. As hard as this has been for me, and I don't want to make this episode about me, but I'm trying to kind of explain it, and hopefully this will help somebody, because I think this is where a lot of us ultra runners get this sport wrong. Is running is something that I do. I love it. It's a big part of my life, but it's not who I am. And it took me a week or two again to realize that. Ultra running super important for me, but it can't be the only thing that's important for me. It's not. It is not. Because everyone's going to miss a race. Everybody's, like I said, is going to get injured. We're going to have setbacks. And if your identity depends entirely on this running and performance, these setbacks are going to be absolutely devastating. It's not going to be good, excuse me. So, in ending, do I think that big goals are worth it? Absolutely, 100%. I'm an idiot. I'm a moron. I wouldn't be sitting here recording this podcast if I didn't believe that. Seriously. Because running has changed my life. It has. The people I've met, the experiences that I've had, the places I've gone, the lessons that I've learned. It's all because I signed up for something really freaking stupid. I signed up for stupid shit. That's really difficult. So I don't encourage anybody to stop chasing goals, but I think you need to understand what they're going to cost you or what they're costing you. And make sure you're consciously willing and choosing to pay that price. So again, I'm learning it. It's perspective, right? I'm learning this through this injury, right? Again. So now I'm learning. I like to learn something every day. I'm still chasing big goals. I'm still building the Ultra Nurse, whatever the hell it is. Nah, I like to talk about running. And you know, the Ultra Nurse, if you want to know about it again, or thing. Hey, yeah, there you go. Where was I? Stupid computer. I don't know how to turn off notifications. I could turn them off on my phone, but I can't get them to stop on my computer. But anyways, the Ultra Nurse, right? I started the Ultra Nurse because I want to encourage and support people like myself that work in healthcare odd shifts, that have kids and families that are just average people, and get them into ultra running and to do hard things, because it's changed my life. And I think it's a great sport. And yeah, and I like doing it through podcasting and now coaching, because what is it? I forget the organization. Oh my God, they're going to hate me. But yeah, I got my ultra running coaching certificate while I was injured. I'm still going to plan races moving forward, right? But I'm trying to be more aware of the cost. I'm trying to be more aware of the trade-offs. I'm trying to be more aware for the people around me. I think that's a big part of maturity as an athlete, is being aware of all that. So a final thought is chase the goal, sign up for stupid shit, build the business, start the podcast, take the risk, put it all on red. No, or black. Which one did I always do? I haven't gambled in quite some time. I don't know. Throw it all on one, right? All of it. And go after something that matters to you, right? Just understand that every meaningful goal has a price tag attached to it. Make sure you're consciously choosing to pay it. That's the real cost of chasing big goals. I appreciate everybody for listening to this episode, whether it be on your shift. Better not be when you're doing patient care, or I'm calling your administrator. Nah, I will never call it. Nah, I'm just kidding. I gotta shut up. Or on your run, on your hike, or driving home, or cleaning your bathroom. I don't know. But thank you for tuning in. And, you know, as always, you can support the show by subscribing here so you don't miss an episode. You never want to miss this. I mean, this has to be the highlight of your week. All the wisdom and knowledge and just the laughter, right? So you don't want to miss a show, and you can give it a rating, leave a comment. Hey, go over to my Instagram, The Ultra Nurse, and make sure you're following me and give me some love over there. I greatly appreciate it. It helps out a lot. And that's what I'm trying to build up right now. Or hit me up on TikTok, The Ultra Nurse. And I do have a YouTube channel I really don't use too much. But supporting all that, especially the Instagram, helps out immensely. I appreciate it. And if you want to be on the show, and or know anybody that wants to come on the show for a little interview or a little conversation, yeah, PM me, DM me, email me. I don't know. Very easy to get a hold of. And as always, if you're able to get out there and run, go rip some miles. Everybody be safe. Peace. Love y'all. And